Welcome back, y'all. Welcome back. Look, it's been some days. This winter has been kicking my butt. I went to the doctor today because I had a banging headache all day yesterday that would not go away no matter what I took, and I didn't want to overdose, so I just stopped after a while. And the doctor was saying I had an upper respiratory infection, so I have a note. I have to miss work tomorrow, but I'll be back there Wednesday. So it's been a little minute now. I saw Joe's College Trip a few days after it premiered on Netflix. Listen, I want to cover a few things before I get into talking to this movie. I feel like people like to hate watch stuff. I feel like people just like to complain because Tyler Perry himself said before he dropped the movie, this movie is not for kids. Joe's gonna do a whole lot of cussing, and if you follow the Medea movie franchise, you know Uncle Joe is totally inappropriate. He's always saying something out the way. He's freaky as far as women are concerned. Like, we know how Uncle Joe is. So the fact that he has his own movie, what did y'all think y'all were going to be watching? And I feel like, and then on top of that, when the movie first came on, Joe himself said he made something, said something, there's going to be 300 MFers, 10 B's, like counting how many cuss words. Like, come on. And you still have people online talking about it's too much cursing. Now, this is a crude comedy, right? It's kind of like, American Pie, what, trying to name some stuff. These comedies where it's crude, there's crude language, there's sex involved. So if you are a self-righteous purist, this movie is not for you. Tyler Perry has been venturing out the last several years doing different kind of things. Uh, his first fans, I will say, probably were more of a church crowd. This movie is not for the church people, but you still had people like the scene where he took his grandson to the brothel. Excuse me. Excuse me. Took his son to a brothel, and you saw some hookers doing their job. Yeah, people in the comments, oh my God, we didn't have to see that. It's a brothel. I understand you didn't have to see it, but it's sex work. You're going to see somebody getting some head. You're going to see somebody getting bent over on the bed. Like, I don't know. But anyway, you don't want to get into this. I want to shout out to the young man that played Uncle Joe's grandson. At first when it came on, I was like, man, it's going to be some corny acting on his part. But he gave just enough corniness for the character. The character himself was like not cultured on black culture. He kind of was very privileged, but he actually played that role, in my opinion, very well. He gave you just enough nerd. He gave you just enough, I don't know what the hell, I'm oblivious to things. He gave just enough. So I really did like his character in this. So, of course, Brian is. I made up my mind that Brian is supposed to be corny as hell. I think Tyler makes his character just corny on purpose like that. So, they go on this college trip. I think Medea was supposed to take him or whatever. But anyway, Uncle Joe was like, "I'll take him." So, in the midst of going from Atlanta to California, they're stopping and Joe's taking these pictures and he's having I think the boy's name is BJ. He's having BJ, pose in these random places. He's not telling them what. Now, while I was watching this, when the sign said Money, Mississippi, I knew exactly what that was going to be about because by this point we had seen Uncle Joe taking random pictures, and he was obviously taking these pictures at these places for a reason. So when I saw Money Mississippi, I knew it was going to be about Emmett Till because that's where he was murdered. And while I was watching it, I was like, man, I can't wait until the grandson, finds out about that. And the fact that Uncle Joe stood on the bridge and looked down at the water. Uncle Joe is multifaceted. That's one thing I like about this movie because in prior Medea movies, we see Uncle Joe just cutting up, saying inappropriate stuff, just being all mannish. But in this movie, you see that, but you also see the human. I don't want to say human because it's human to be inappropriate and stuff too, but you see like the serious side of him when he was standing at that bridge and looking at that water, and then the little boy found out from Destiny when she was giving him his Black History lesson that was where Emmett Till was murdered, and they found his body in the river. So I appreciate that. Another thing I really liked was the cinematography. I liked how when they were going from scene, not scene, from city to city, how the title of the city was scooping there. I liked it. It was very honestly. I would have loved to see this in theaters. I would have loved to see it in theaters. Tyler Perry hasn't put a movie out in theaters in a while. I think streaming is just so popular right now that a lot of people are just going for the streaming. But I would have loved to see this movie in the theaters. And what's so funny is maybe like a month before I found out this was coming out, I was like, man, Uncle Joe need his own movie, man. He need his own movie. I've been saying that for so long, and then bam, I was like, wow, it's like Tyler heard me, like, okay, here you go. Here's your Uncle Joe movie. Now there was one scene that it was so funny, I'm telling you. We all remember the Montgomery Brawl, right? That's what it's titled. So when Uncle Joe was in that damn Confederate MAGA bar because his grandson, it was funny because Joe fell asleep in the car. His grandson was like driving, oh, I gotta pee. Walked right into this damn biker bar with all these damn Confederate flags. You could tell this is not a place. Excuse me. Excuse me, y'all. It's like 11 something at night. So excuse me. But place where, black people know not to be at. He go in there in peace. So of course they started to gang up on the grandson, and Uncle Joe woke up and he was in there doing kung fu and stuff. And then when he pulled out that damn folded chair, I'm like, I cannot count how many times I was watching this and I was screaming out, Tyler Perry is a damn fool. Tyler Perry is funny as hell though. Like on some real shit, he cracks me up, especially with the certain characters that he plays. Like we all know Medea's funny as hell. But for Uncle Joe to have his own spotlight. So when he was in Memphis, one of the things, not just one, but one of the things I love about Tyler Perry is I love how he pays homage to Black actors, to Black entertainers in our culture, that like that we just cherish, that we have fond memories of, that we play their songs during barbecues and cookouts. So Millie Jackson played in this. She played a singer when Uncle Joe and BJ were in Memphis. And for those of you that are fans of Martin, she was on the episode where they were cooking Thanksgiving dinner, taking turn. The girls are cooking Thanksgiving dinner, and then the guys are cooking Thanksgiving dinner, right? And she was like, pass the peas like we used to do. Then they started doing that pass the peas like we used to do. So that's what that's what came to my mind when Millie Jackson was on the screens. I started singing that pass the peas like we used to do. But I love how Tyler Perry does that. Like if you think about it, for example, Cicely Tyson before she passed, we hadn't seen her much until in her later years until Tyler Perry was putting her in his stuff. I mean, I love him for that. He gives new talent jobs. He gives older talent jobs. He gives people that we haven't seen in a while jobs. I absolutely love him for that. So they end up picking up a sex worker. Well, BJ does, because while they were at the brothel, Uncle Joe, he's so crazy. He set it up so he can lose his virginity to the girl or whatever. So basically, we find out she was actually being forced to be there. I don't think the madam knew that, but anyway, he basically busted her out of there, had her in the trunk. Uncle Joe didn't know it. And so they out in the desert. This scene was funny because the people that was trying to get her, they was shooting and stuff, shooting back. I'm just like, man, what goes through Tyler's head when he's writing this stuff? But that scene where I think her name was Destiny, the sex worker, when she was giving him the grandson, history lessons, she was looking at the pictures and she was like, these aren't just regular pictures. This is where the such and such happened. This is where such and such. And he didn't know that, watching this, I think sometimes as black people, when we have our kids in these, because I'm pretty sure, I think he went to like private school and he's probably like one of few black people there. It's like you got to teach them about history as well, because they're already trying to take it out of schools as we speak. And this boy about to graduate from high school don't know anything about all these historical places that he went to and everything. And at the end, he decides to go to Morehouse. He was actually planning on going somewhere else, but he started to get a little bit more into his roots and everything. And that was what Brian was scared of. Brian was like, man, he doesn't know, I don't want, him to be. But Brian was like the total opposite of Uncle Joe. Like he was extremely, how Brian is. If you're familiar with Tyler Perry movies, his character, he didn't start off super corny, because I think he was first on in that first movie he did, Diary of a Mad Black Woman. He was in that, but he wasn't as corny. He was a little bit more serious. But like on Boo Halloween, he was like corny. It's just it was. But I could tell Tyler Perry did that on purpose, because he's just trying to put emphasis on the fact that he's just, and that it affected his son in a way. But anyway, like I said, I wish this was in theaters. This is definitely something I would have enjoyed watching in theaters. Let's get back to putting some more movies in theaters, man. Like I don't even know what's in theaters anymore unless I see the trailer when I'm playing a game on my phone or something, or you know what I mean? Because I don't know. But anyway, let me know what you think about Uncle Joe's college trip. Let me know in the comments, all right? Shout out to my 191 subscribers. Shout out to the rest of you as well who are not subscribed, but you can hit that button for me. I really appreciate it. Peace and blessings to every last one of you watching. Until next time.